Aloha and good evening, everyone. And on this pleasant Friday night from North Orem, Utah, we welcome you to KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of high school football. And our coverage of KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of Timpanogos football is presented by Brent Brown Toyota Scion. And tonight, the Timpanogos Timberwolves get ready to celebrate homecoming as they welcome in the Hillcrest Huskies. And alongside my broadcast partner, Alex Amrine, I'm Alexander Timberwolves. Good to be with you guys again. So, Amrine, I turn to you. First thing I say is, this will be the first time we get our look at Chase Riggs this year because Timpanogos has him at full strength for the first time since the opener against Jordan back on August the 12th.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting to watch. It was a shame that we couldn't see him in person last week. Watching the film, of course, he's still nursing that shoulder injury, but, he looks good, had a heck of a game in their win, so I'm excited to see him in person for the first time tonight.
Now let's go over the big things first to remember all about this matchup. The Timberwolves are coming off a big win last week in Uintah, actually in against the Uintah Utes. A 38-7 third quarter lead they opened up there, and they cruised to the victory. That must have been a nice return to form because, let's face it, Amrine, the last two previous games before that, we watched against Cedar Valley and against Payson. They looked a little less than stellar.
Yeah, it was tough. We were out in Cedar Valley. That game was very peculiar. I was going into that game honestly thinking Timpanogos was going to have the upper hand, and they got just run over all night. Their run defense really struggled, as well as their pass defense as well. Their offense, they always are able to get a lot of points on the board when they have, great offensive players like Luke Livingston. But, you can only do so much offensively when your defense is not getting the job done. They bounced back really well last week, and, going up against the Hillcrest side, that despite their 0-7 record, they have talented offensive pieces. I think that they should be able to still do well tonight. It's going to be an interesting game.
So let's get to our Heidemann & Associates keys to the game as we're doing the coin toss presented by Heidemann & Associates, the full-service law firm that is committed to winning for their clients. Amrine, I think you put it in pretty clearly in bolded text there almost, what Timpanogos needs to do.
Yeah, so for me, I was kind of thinking, I'm like, what do they need to do to win this game? There's a lot of different ways they can win this game, and I just think, just throw the ball over and over and over again. Hillcrest pass defense has been, in a word, atrocious. Watching their film, it just seems like there's a lack of discipline. It seems like there's just not a lot of hustle once the player gets the ball. It seems like they just don't really crowd to the ball. They just let the one guy take them down, and, I think that if Chase Riggs can continue to gain momentum on his return to the field, games wide receivers could all have record days, especially Luke Livingston.
Now on the other side for Hillcrest, they got nothing to lose despite that 0-7 record. What do they got to do?
I think going along with having nothing to lose, send all those front seven guys. Get to Chase Riggs. With a lackluster secondary, the D-line has got to get in the backfield soon in order to get Chase Riggs, out of his rhythm. I am nervous about their ability to perform against the Timberwolves defense. I'm not nervous about their ability to perform against the Timberwolves defense. They have a really talented offensive unit, or a lot of studs. They have a great quarterback and a lot of fast receivers. I think they'll do well.
It is a gorgeous night for football here in North Orem, Utah. Forecast kickoff temperature is 66 degrees with a northwest wind about 14 miles per hour, Amrine, and we can feel it up here. It's a pretty stiff breeze, and going towards certainly this end of the field, towards the left end of the field where we're standing, is going to be very tough for the kicking game because we saw Harris Reed punting. The punts went up, and then they almost kind of held right up there for almost like a pause button there for a second.
Yeah, no, we've had the opportunity to see Reed have a lot of great punts and kicks so far this season and all the games we've done for them. But yeah, it's always interesting when the wind's a factor. It can also affect the throwing game in addition to the kicking game. I know that you're mentioning we're going to have some line drive kicks if they want anything to be accurate on the field goal game as well as the punt game. But sometimes, we were watching Reed punt before. Every time he's kicking from about the 45-yard line on the other side, all of his punts were landing within the 10 yards, so we could see some good punts with him on the hang time that the wind's giving it.
Timpanogos won the toss. They won the football first on homecoming night. Caden Burton set to kick off. It's been a nice week off, but Amrine and I are glad to be back on the air once again. So with that, we ask you to settle back. In and watch. Burton sends us away, and the kickoff will be returnable inside the 5. Out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And getting brought down about the 35-yard line on that return. A decent one there for the Timpanogos Timberwolves by Parker Harvey. And that's a good starting field position there for Chase Riggs and the T-Wolves.
Yeah, it was interesting. They chose to kick off from the right hash rather than the middle of the field like most teams do. And the risk that you run there is leaving a big gap in the middle. A lot of players didn't stay in their lanes right there. That's a number one to do on kickoff teams when you're kicking off. They didn't do that right there. Great return. They're starting off about the 37-yard line.
And Kayla Anders.
So Riggs from the gun on 1st and 10, throws out to the screen. That's complete to Livingston. Livingston up the sideline, and he gets pushed out of bounds about the 42-yard line. The game clock bug on your screen, by the way, is unofficial.
Yeah,
we've seen them run a lot of screens like that, but that was the first time I've seen them all season run a bunch forward out to the left on that screen to Luke Livingston.
Handoff goes to Bretzing on 2nd and 5, and he's got a lane out to midfield, and he gets out to the 45-yard line, and that's another first down. The first one of the game for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, Bretzing, he's seen a lot more touches that we've seen MG Iosefo mainly take reps on the defensive side of the ball, not as many times as, of course, at quarterback for a little bit there when they're still trying to figure out the quarterback game. Bretzing with the ball again, going on the outside.
And he's got a lane again onto the right side, but there's a flag down in the offensive backfield.
Forced out of the 35.
And where the yellow hanky's tossed, I suspect we're going to have a holding.
Yeah, it looks like the way that Chase Riggs was looking at the ref, he already knew it was going back 10.
Holding against Timpanogos.
So back it up 10 yards on the penalty. First one of the game. 11:19 is officially the time here inside the stadium. We're having some score bug issues. We apologize. We're going to get it figured out here in just a moment.
First and long, T-Wolves.
First and 21 now from the 43. Here's the handoff up the middle to Bretzing, and he's got another lane. And Bretzing's going to get all the penalty yards back, plus a couple more, up to about the 44-yard line. And that's a pretty good sign if you're Timpanogos early on.
I was about to say, the way that run looked, it almost looked like a draw play right there. But, you know, it wasn't a draw play. It was just that the offensive line had so much penetration and so much room for Bretzing to run. Great job.
They give it to him again, and he's got another lane again. Out to the 35, makes a move, and he slides down to about the 34-yard line. Another pickup of close to 10, and that's another first down.
Good for another T-Wolf.
And something to look out in the rest of this run game. The secondary seems a little hesitant to close down as soon as they know it's a run. Maybe they're just worried that the speed's going to get the best of them from Bretzing.
First pass of the game for Riggs is incomplete.
Pass.
It was intended for Livingston. Pressure on him there. For the Huskies came from Isaiah Cooper, the senior.
You know, and that's exactly what the Huskies need right there. Just, you know, get in there, even if they don't disrupt the pass like it did right there. I mean, just get some touches on Chase Riggs. Of course, you know, you don't want to see Chase Riggs damage his shoulder anymore, but at least just put that pressure on.
Here's a handoff again to Bretzing, and he's got a lane to the left side. He's at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, and he's torn out of bounds at about the 11-yard line, but not before he picks up another 20 yards there.
And I talked about Chase Riggs and his receivers possibly all having career games. I didn't even think about Bretzing in this run game, but heck, we might see the passing game on the next drive. The run game establishes the pass game.
Tatum Black finally took Easton Bretzing out of bounds, but not before he had a first down at the 11. And just like that, the T-Wolves are inside the red zone here early on. And again, it's Bretzing up the middle. And again, he's got a lane. He spins off tacklers down about the 6.
Bretzing for a gain of 5 up the middle. Second down.
Pickup of close to 5, call it. And now they'll go back quickly to the line. Triple wide receiver lines up to the right. Livingston lines up at the top of the screen. Riggs throws to the right side. Touchdown!
Touchdown! T-Wolves!
Just like that, they're on the board. Caleb Hadley into the end zone from 6 yards out.
6-yard pass.
And just like that, Timpanogos up 6-0.
Yeah, and Caleb Hadley right there. He's a wide receiver, but also sometimes plays down as the tight end. They just had that, you know, ISO out to the left. All you got to do is throw it up for him. He was able to get those feet, both feet inbound. That's a touchdown in the NFL. Great job right there. I like that they finished off that play with a throw. Didn't see a lot of that on this drive, mostly running, and switch it up on the last play.
Reed Harris now for the extra point. Good snap, good hold. The kick is good.
Harris's PAT is good with 9:59
so with 9:59 left here in the first quarter, the T-Wolves are up 7-0.
Fans, let's get up and stretch. It's fight song time.
We'll be back after this word from WGU on KSLSports.com.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Back here on KSLSports.com, 7-0 Timpanogos is our score. Alexander Timble alongside Alex Amrine. A very fast scoring drive, 9:59 here to go here in the first quarter. Again, we're having some score bug issues. We'll have to fix it here remotely in just a second. Our good friend Vince Francis will come in from Salt Lake to fix it. So you'll have to be patient with us. Harris kicking off toward the windy end zone, and that is a hopper, a line drive that's taken on the run and getting a great open field tackle.
Kickoff returned out to the 21-yard line.
Cody Hawks on the
quickly
stop.
by Jose Reyes.
Cody Hawks and Jose
First and
Reyes
10,
there on the
Hillcrest.
stop of Josiah Gonzalez. And now we see Micah Madry come out here for the first time.
Yeah, Micah Madry,
And
he's
Micah
been the
Madry
aspect of this game that I've
found
really been looking
behind
forward
the
to.
homestand.
You know, I think that this
Head down,
guy
get
needs
a
to go by Mad Dog
PLT.
Madry. This guy
Titan
is a
dog.
baller. His
Or
playing style
bacon
reminds me of Lamar
cheeseburger.
Jackson. Of course, he's got that left-hand throw of Steve Young, Tua Tagovailoa. He's got the physique, speed, awareness, and throwing ability of Lamar Jackson. There's little to no aspects of his film that I'm worried about.
Well, they start in the Wildcat on the first play, and the handoff by Braden Wetzel to Marcus Solers go absolutely nowhere. He didn't get anything. In fact, they'll say he lost a yard on
Marcus
the play.
Solers brought down quickly.
Interesting, we don't see Micah Madry on the first play, so it looks like they're going to have Braden Wetzel come in as the Wildcat QB.
And it looks like he's on the sideline, actually, with his helmet off. It's interesting. We saw him warming up and taking passes.
Alex Gonzalez now lines up in the backfield as a single set back. Wetzel throws to the left side. That pass is complete, but not for very much. A very short gain. Zion Jackson there on the catch, brought down immediately
Stopped after a gain
by
of
Timpanogos' Jax
That brings up
Yakachuk,
third
who was
and
called
8.
up from the JV team earlier this week. And just like that, it's third down and long here for the Huskies.
Yeah, and that was a good hit right there. I think so many times when you think about the slant routes over the middle, that's when you're worried about getting popped. But sometimes on those out routes, when you have those guys playing in a cover 3 that just drop down, ready to pop the guy who gets in the out route right there, the wide receiver is going to be thinking about that next time.
Third down and 8 from the 25. Wetzel play action, high pass, that is complete. And again, not much room.
Quick pass complete to Mateo Paul.
Mateo Paul made the catch, but
Quickly
again,
by Tyler Hunter.
not much
down.
room. Tyler Hunter with the stop, and just like that, a quick 3 and out for the Huskies.
Yeah, and that's the exact right way that the Timberwolves want to start this game. A quick 3 and out, get the ball back. You know, continue to establish their offense. It'll be interesting that once they get the ball back, to see if they're going to go in the air more. We'll see shortly. It was actually interesting. It looked like, you know, they were, I don't know if they were considering going for it. It just took a little bit for the punt team to get out there, though. Oh, and almost a block.
And Burton's punt, you're right, was almost blocked. Livingston's going to take it on the run. He gets a block in midfield, gets outside, and he might have a chance. Livingston, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown!
T-Wolves.
His first punt return touchdown of the season. It goes for 60 yards. That's total touchdown average number 23 on the year.
Absolutely ridiculous this season. I mean, we talked about before the game what a season he's had last year, but this year's been just incredible. And, you know, we know his speed. We know that he's always the punt returner. It's just basically a matter of time before he takes them back to the house. And right there, you know, he just got a few key blocks, and all he had to do was outrun the rest of that kick team.
Reed now for his second extra point of the game. Good snap again, good hold again, and the kick is perfect again.
PAT is good with 7:51 left in the first quarter.
7:51 left to go here in the first quarter. It is 14 to nothing
On your feet, T-Wolves.
in favor of the Timberwolves as the fireworks pop off here at Timpanogos High School. Want to remind you, KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of Timpanogos football is presented by Brent Brown Toyota Scion, and is also presented by Western Governors University. Make 2022 the year of you. When you apply for a $2,500 scholarship, that's available only when you apply online. WGU.edu is online accredited affordable. It is the nonprofit university of you. Alexander Timlip, Alex Amrine here at Timpanogos High School. Our good friend Vince Francis is currently going in to fix the scoreboard here. We want to apologize for that. We'll keep it as updated as we can here manually. 14-0 is our score, 7:51 remaining here in the first quarter on a windy, chilly night here in North Orem, Utah. Again, kickoff temperature was about 66 degrees with the wind coming out of the north-northwest about 15. It's a pooch kick. And it is a scramble on the ground, and I think Timpanogos has it. Or do they? No, it's Hillcrest football.
Kickoff recovered by the Huskies.
Well, I think it's clear the game plan of what Austin Heaps wants to do. He wants to take all the frustration of the last 2 weeks out on the Huskies.
Yeah, I mean, you get an 0-7 team coming in here. You know, they do have some talented pieces, but I think, you know, just about, 6-7 minutes into the game, I think we're seeing pretty clearly where the trend of this game is going. Unless the Huskies can do something right here in this offensive drive, why not kick it? Onside kick in the first 6 minutes of the game. I don't think I've seen that one very often.
That was an interesting one, to say the least. The Huskies, by the way, almost broke the huddle with 12 men. Wetzel goes into the shotgun. Sollers in the backfield. Another high pass caught by Hall. He's got a block to the left side, and he gets twisted down from behind at about the 37, 38-yard line.
We're still not seeing Micah Madry out on the field. I still see him out on the sideline. He's got his helmet on right now. It doesn't look like there's any visible discomfort in the way he's moving around, but perhaps it's part of the game plan or something else that we're not aware of.
Potentially. Brock Bryant, not known playing it close to the vest. We know Austin Heaps has been playing it close to the vest relatively all season long, especially with the injury to Riggs early this season. Here's Sollers the handoff, and he goes nowhere. He gets maybe a yard. Brighton Tate, the first man to him. And it'll be third down and manageable here for the Huskies.
And something I can see from this defense and this whole team already, I think, with that first offensive drive that scored a touchdown and the punt return for the touchdown, everyone's eager now. Now everyone's thinking, oh man, this might be a good game to score or get some highlights on my huddle account, right? And so all those defensive players, they're trying to oh man, get a hand on the ball. I saw 4 guys get on there, and they're all trying to get their hand on the ball, strip that ball out. So I think, plays like this, games like this, just get everyone on the team just excited as they take him down there.
There you go. Sollers gets swallowed up in the backfield. Nowhere to go. Again, Tate there in the middle of the pack. No pun intended, by the way. And it'll be fourth down again here for the Huskies. And again, we're going to see their decision. And, I mean, you're 0-7. I mean,
no gain on the play.
I don't think you got anything to lose by going for it on fourth down here.
No, I mean, I guess it's kind of fourth down territory. You might as well, with the trend of the game.
Almost looks like they're going to pooch punt it from here, and they are going to pooch punt it. And Wetzel's going to get a good one off, and he's going to let it, and they're going to let it run. The T-Wolves are. And this is going to work out pretty well. That's going to tumble inside the 10, inside close to the 5. It's going to die right at the 6-yard line. A 56-yard pooch kick.
First and 10,
but it makes sense, though, Amrine. I mean, you're kicking with the wind, and so you're going to get a little help, but a little buffer from the backside on that.
Yeah, I mean, it worked right there. Thankfully, they got the favor of the roll on that one. Rolled about 15, 20 yards further into the Timberwolves' own territory. And I was kind of curious because I wasn't really sure what they were doing, and I don't think that Coach Heaps really knew what was going as well, so he decided to keep his defensive unit out right there, see if they try to trick defensive play. He's confident in his offense that, we can drive this ball 94 yards down the field and score a touchdown. They've done it before, so.
5:48 left to go. Again, our score bug is being inoperative here. We're going to keep you updated as best we can, radio style here, as Riggs hands off on first down to Bretzing. And Bretzing has the ball pop out, and it's picked up, and it's running for a touchdown.
Touchdown, Hillcrest. Fumble on the play. Recovered by
Isaiah Cooper recovered the loose football and took it into the end zone from 3 yards out. And if there was anything the Huskies needed, that was it.
Yeah, and from this angle right up here, I couldn't tell if that was just a punch out or a bit of a lawnmower move right there, but all I saw was the ball go flying in the air and a defender pick it up for the little scoop and score right there. That's a way to turn around, get some momentum back onto your side.
So now here's the kicker now. Caden Burton for the extra point out of the hold of Madry. It's down, it's kicked, and it is right through.
PAT is good with
5:38 to go here in the first quarter. It is 13-7 in favor of the
Danny
Timpanogos
McKiff,
Timberwolves.
Please head down to the PTSA silent auction. You
We'll
have
be back
won.
after this word from
Danny McKiff,
UCCU right
please
after
head down to
this.
the silent
At
auction.
UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
"14-7 is our score between Hillcrest and Timpanogos, with the Timberwolves leading with 5:38 to go here in the first quarter. Alexander Timolip and Alex Amrine here inside Timpanogos High School on this homecoming night. Caden Burton is set to kick off.
You know, I'm sure the offense is going to come out here and just, act like that never happened, put some points back on the board, make it a 14-point game again. I know when you have games like this where you start off with such a hot start, you almost want it to be perfect from there going forward. So that's frustrating they had a mistake like that, a mistake that resulted in a touchdown.
Burton's kickoff goes inside the 5 and another chance to return it. And out to the 25, out to the 20, stumbling to the 25 as a penalty flag goes down behind the play. As that was a decent return there, but there's a flag down by Parker Harvey. But again, there's going to be a block in the back called, and we'll hear the referee for the first time here tonight. So there it is, and that will back up the Timberwolves inside the 20.
And that's such a common penalty on these kickoffs,
First and 10 T-Wolves at the 14.
I'm honestly surprised that, there's not more coaching on how to prevent that. It's just so instinctual when you want to block a guy, to prevent him from getting in the way of your kick returner, but it's so instinctual to just, shove him from the ground. But of course, that's going to get a flag almost every time.
14-7 is our score. 5:29 to go here in the first quarter. Riggs from the shotgun. Hands off to Bretzing. Has a whole left side. Takes it into the stack, and he gets out to the 20. He'll pick up about maybe 6. First contact made there by Isaiah Cooper.
One thing that's so impressive with Bretzing is just his downhill running ability when he goes off to the side like this. I mean, just powering down the defensive tackle right there.
What a catch there by Livingston on the fade route up the sideline, and what a throw there by Riggs. An easy first down. That's a pitch and catch right there. I'm sure Timberwolves fans are very happy to see again.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Livingston, he's had quite the effect on the special teams right there as we got trips out to the left.
And Livingston now in the gun, and everybody moved except the center.
Timeout, Hillcrest.
Because there was a timeout. I didn't see a flag, Amrine, but that was everybody moving except the center.
I know, that was going to be one of those classics. I mean, we've been around so many games so far this season, especially with the Timpanogos side. We've seen so many flags come out. It's been kind of ridiculous. So at this point, I'm just trained. When I see a flinch or anything like that, I'm like, all right, where's the flag? And where's the false start? Where's the encroachment on the defense? Finally, we just get a timeout.
Yeah, it's about time we got that. We want to bring you up to date on the games that are going across the network tonight. We want to remind you that the game of the week is over in Morgan tonight, where Grantsville is taking on Morgan. Skyridge is taking on Lone Peak tonight. The Skyridge team that lost to Corner Canyon last week got upset by the Chargers. Mark Winterton and Moose Bingham have that game. And, of course, JT Wistersill, Isaac Asiata have American Fork against PG. Pleasant Grove taking on American Fork tonight. And I have to say, Amrine, after seeing what Corner Canyon did against Skyridge last week, they were down 14-0 and ended up coming back to win the game by 4. You can't seriously tell me that Corner Canyon, they look like a favorite. We could see that matchup again at Rice Eccles Stadium in a few weeks.
Yeah, I know, and I think the main takeaway from that game, I mean, we know at Skyridge, they're just like football giants this season. They almost looked kind of just unstoppable, and then just absolute grit right there from the Corner Canyon team to come from behind and win that game.
Yeah, I was sitting on the side of the Corner Canyon fans, and we all witnessed their reports of their demise was premature, according to the Standard Examiner's Patrick Carr, as Bretzing gets taken down in the backfield for no gain.
Bretzing brought down behind.
Yeah, and right here is when you start considering opening up the passing game right now. The defense is so anticipating the run game right there, and it's not like it's been, that crazy of a run game. Pretty simple, just inside zone runs.
And Livingston is going to be the Wildcat quarterback here, and he's going to get the run, and Livingston is going to pick up about maybe 5 to about the 35.
Luke Livingston with the carry.
4:19 and rolling here on the clock, and then I'll bring up third down and 5. And Livingston will remain in as the quarterback in the Wildcat. Riggs, the main quarterback, splits to the left. He's in the top right of the triangle. Dash McCann and Caleb Harvey are in that stack as well, and Livingston's going to take it himself, and he ain't going to go anywhere. That did not fool the Hillcrest defense.
Yeah, Livingston not going anywhere. Those are words I haven't heard either of us say many times this season, but we saw it just there.
And now they're going to go for it here, or at least try to get them to jump offside, and they do. Well, you could see that coming from a mile away, couldn't you, Amron?
I know, that's what I was kind of expecting. I mean, they're up 7 right here. Their defense has done a heck of a job. I don't really see why they would need to go for it right here. And as soon as we saw number 5 right there, defenseman jump off, I heard a lot of laughs from the crowd right there as they all knew it was coming.
Isaiah Cooper, the man who recovered the fumble for the score, is the one who commits the infraction. 3:36 and rolling on the clock here in the first quarter. Riggs to pass, throws, wide open in the flat. Bretzing needs to make a man miss. He does. At the 50, at the 40, inside the 30, needs another block, cuts it back. Still on his feet. Back to the middle. He's still going. Easton Bretzing down inside the 10 and brought down right at the 10.
Bretzing puts on a bunch of moves.
Boy, he ran about maybe 70 yards for that play, Amron. It's officially going to go down as a
48-yard gain.
48-yard gain on that one.
Going no huddle right here.
And they have one-on-one coverage as they're trying to run a 12th man off. They did get it off, and Bretzing's got a wide open lane, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown.
Yeah, cruise in right there. This guy, what a big tank of gas this guy has. I mean, running all over you. Expect them, and not just him, but everyone else in the offense to be so tired. They get up there. You know, I was expecting some sort of draw, anticipate pass, but good job right there. He walks into the end zone.
Second touchdown of the game for Easton Bretzing. 20-7 now with 3:12 left here in the first quarter. Reed Harris now for the extra point. His third of the quarter. It is placed, it is kicked, and it is good.
PAT is good with 3:12 left in the first quarter. T-Wolves 21, Huskies 7.
As the fireworks pop off, it's 21-7.
Sing the fight song.
With 3:12 left here in the first quarter. All right, Ryan, we're going to talk about it for a second because I think this is a welcome sight for Timpanogos fans to see that the offense is finally getting back into gear again.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's so interesting, I was going to make a note of it, when we saw Chase Riggs lined out in that Wildcat formation, we had Luke Livingston under center, it's made me realize how many more offensive abilities they have, like how much it opens up their offensive playbook once they have all their guys healthy and right there. And, I think that they have such depth on there. We've seen so many other great guys at wide receiver other than Luke Livingston. We saw a heck of a performance from just the other receivers when we were out at Cedar Valley, and we also have seen MJ Iosepo, even though we haven't seen him as of recently playing at running back. We know how lethal he can be, and so I think it's awesome that here on this homecoming night, the fans have seen a heck of a performance from every side of the ball. There's that one little slip up with the fumble that was returned for a touchdown, but other than that, this has been a very, very clean game.
3:12 left to go here in the first quarter. Reed Harris gets set to kick off. He does. And that will go into the end zone for a touchback.
Kickoff into the end zone for a touchback. 1st and 10, Hillcrest.
And
headed Titans Den Snack Shack.
We still have not seen Micah Madry here
Titan Dog. BLT,
in the first quarter, so
chocolate.
Apparently Brock Bryant feels comfortable to leave Wetzel in there as the Wildcat quarterback for right now.
I mean, I know that you made a note about how they have nothing to lose, right? Try anything, but I guess, switching out your starting quarterback who looks like a stud, I mean, that's one that, you don't hear about very often, but, if the coach feels confident in it, might as well.
Wetzel hands off to Sollers, and Sollers will pick up about 4 to about the 24-yard line.
Sollers with a 4-yard gain. 2nd down and 6.
As our friend Vince Francis is trying to correct our scoreboard, we're keeping it as updated for you as we can here inside the stadium. 2:50 and rolling. And what's been a dominant first quarter. It started with an Easton Bretzing rushing touchdown, and then a Luke Livingston punt return touchdown of 61 yards. And then it was Bretzing into the end zone from 5 yards out to make it 21-7, and the only score for Hillcrest came on the fumble return by Isaiah Cooper. Wetzel from the gun, hands to Sollers again, looks for a lane, and he gets crunched right at the line of scrimmage.
You know, this has just been such a good performance thus far in the run game from the Timberwolves linebackers. I mean, because there's decent enough penetration on the offensive line to create some holes for the running back for Hillcrest, but then the linebackers just swallow them up and limit it to a maybe 3 at max 4-yard gain.
So 3rd down and 4 now. 2 minutes and counting left here in the first quarter. 21-7 Timpanogos. Wetzel from the gun, double wide receivers. He takes the snap, looks to his left, throws, and it's broken up. And a flag comes in late as Jayden Robinson looked like he jumped over the top of the intended receiver. So they're going to have a conversation about this. Zion Jackson was the intended target, and I think it is going to be PI for Robinson coming over the top.
Pass interference against the T-Wolves is the call.
Yeah, and I can kind of see, you know, the reasoning behind that pass interference call, you know, jumping in there, disrupting the receiver before the ball even really got to him. You know, I'm always the kind of guy that I think the defenders should have, you know, a lot more leeway in that. I'm a fan of that kind of aggressive game right there. But, heck, that's a break right there. Put them in a better field position, probably their best field position of the night.
Yeah, no kidding. 21-7 is our score. 1:47 left here in the first quarter. Again, Vince Francis is correcting our scoreboard problems. Here's a handoff to the left side on the counter, and a big hole to the left side there for Alex Gonzalez. And he will get out to the 46-yard line. Decent pickup of 6.
Gonzalez off the left
Yeah, Gonzalez
side.
one of the guys I was watching in pregame, and I mean, of course, they were just doing like run-through and stuff, but I really thought, when this guy turns on the jets, he can really go downfield and go down there fast. And so, you know, maybe that's one of the things that they're going to keep on going to after a decent gain right there on 1st down. I was really impressed with him. I think that he could also get some guys, you know, putting some people on skates, so to speak. So I'm hoping we can see more of that, get this offense rolling.
1:11 left to go here in the first. 1:11 and rolling left to go here in the first quarter. 21-7.
This game's flying by. It's crazy.
Sure is, man. Probably a good thing for us because it's freezing up here. As Wetzel
it's
hands
a little
off.
cold.
Yeah, it's Gonzalez left side, and he's got a lane out to the 40, out to the 45, out to the 43-yard line, and that's a 1st down there for the Hillcrest Huskies. And so, I guess that, and I guess that attitude of not having nothing to lose is giving them a bit of life because
1st and 10, Huskies.
They're getting on a bit of a roll here.
No, yeah, now they're pushing into Timberwolves territory right there. And one thing I liked right there is, you know, he just waited for, you know, the gaps to open up, found a lane, chose the right one, and, you know, picked up a 1st down, good gain right there. And we saw it looked like, you know, if that last defender wasn't right there, he could have gone the distance.
35 and rolling here in the first quarter. 21-7 in favor of Timpanogos, but Hillcrest is driving. Handoff goes to Sollers, and he goes nowhere.
Sollers brought down.
Buried in the backfield, Tyler Hunter. First contact.
Yeah, so thus far, this game, if you know, correct me if I'm wrong, I've seen 3 pass plays. I've seen 2 out routes to the right side of the field and 1 little bubble screen that was thrown very high to the left. Other than that, it's all been runs. So the defense, you know, they only have so much guessing they have to do right there. And, you know, they guessed pretty correctly right there, stuffing the running back in the backfield.
That'll be the end of the first quarter.
That'll do it for the first quarter. Our score 21-7 in favor of the Timpanogos Timberwolves. Back after this word from Salt Lake Running Company on KSLSports.com.
As Dr. Jensen presents Norley Hall with the Spirit of Timpanogos Award. For the past 18 years, Norley has exemplified THS spirit. Every holiday or spirit day, Norley goes all out to show his T-Wolf spirit. Our school is one of the best kept facilities in the state, thanks to his hard work. Norley is a workhorse that goes above and beyond to meet each teacher's needs in a timely manner, and consistently keeps Timpanogos looking like a country club. Over the years, he's donated thousands of dollars to Sub for Santa to help the families of Timpanogos High School. Norley is a military veteran. He served our country in the Army during the Vietnam War. Norley, thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for the day in, day out work you do to create the culture at Timpanogos High School. Ladies and gentlemen, let him hear you, Norley Hall.
Testing. Thank you very much for that, Eric. Thank you, Dr. Joe. I'm so honored I'm speechless except for this.
Will we pick it up live? Will we pick it up live? Micah Maudry on the carry there.
How about all you students on 3? Help me, how?
So now Amrine, as we're back here, Alexander Timpanogos, Amrine here. Micah Maudry's in the game now. Interesting that he's now in, as Wetzel was playing the whole first quarter.
Yeah, sometimes, I don't want to make any speculation. Sometimes coaches, if there's something that goes down, a little pregame, maybe the coach will keep him out for the first quarter. I've seen that before in different teams across different sports. Don't know if that was the case. Don't want to make any speculation like that. But now he's back in there. Now we can see if these Huskies team can really roll, because they have some great offensive pieces. They just need that general out there to get them rolling.
Want to apologize, by the way. They were doing a presentation, Timpanogos was just now, and apparently someone didn't tell the director that you're not supposed to talk during the play, because there was a really loud Timberwolf howl here, but I'm surprised that they did not throw the flag for disrupting the play, because that's not allowed in high school football as pass is complete. To Mateo Tall, that's enough for a first down to move the sticks.
First and 10, Hillcrest.
We'll get the clock rolling here in just a few seconds here. Maudry from the gun, looking, throws. Pass was tipped, but it's caught out the far sideline, and Litzter gets over there.
Well, back-to-back completed passes, seeing a guy like Maudry, let's look at the way that he's just directing everyone right there. Getting everyone set in motion. I really like this already. Their Husky offense, thankfully, right before the last quarter ended, they had some momentum going. Right in time for Maudry to get out here.
10:39 and rolling. Unofficially on our clock, it's 10:44. Here's a handoff, and again, nowhere to go for Gonzalez as he gets buried in the backfield.
By a pack of wolves.
And just as it was a pack of wolves right there, Brighton Tate, the first contact.
I think they did mean pun intended right there, unlike you.
So 3rd down and 4 now from the 29, and considering where the Huskies are, I would assume this is 4-down territory, but you never know.
Yeah, watch these 3 receivers out to the side. I wouldn't be excited to the slot, tries to run a seam up the middle.
And Maudry drops the snap, gets out of trouble. Now he's going to roll and run for his life and just throws it up into the bench and incomplete. That is not intentional grounding because he went outside the tackle box. So now it's 4th down, Amrine, and what do you do?
Right here, I think you go for it. Down 2 scores. You got Maudry back in. It looks like they're on a roll. He looks pretty comfortable. He had 2 receivers open on the left side. They both ran little seam routes. The guy on the outside just ran a go. And they were open, and it was just for that little missed snap right there. And I've seen Maudry on some of those. I was expecting him to roll out left and just throw a bomb down the field. I've seen him do that on some film so far this year. I was kind of expecting that. Didn't get a seat right there.
Maudry, pressure coming, and Maudry goes down!
On the play. Tyson Miller.
Tyson Miller ends the Husky
Brings
threat.
up the turnover on downs.
And that was absolutely no chance because Miller was in the backfield in a hurry.
This Timberwolves defense, they have just a very good tendency to make the big plays when it's necessary. Of course, we saw, some just mishaps against Cedar Valley, against Payson. But so far here tonight, like in those 4-down situations, they make the big plays when it's necessary.
So out comes that Timberwolves offense again. Easton Bretzing has accounted for 2 touchdowns on offense. Luke Livingston accounting for the punt return touchdown. Riggs, play action, looking, throws, and it's incomplete. Going into a whole bunch of traffic intended for Graff.
Riggs was hit really low on that last play. I was surprised that there wasn't a roughing the passer play. He stayed on the ground for a little bit, but he's up and walking around as he's looking to the sideline for directions for this next play. You don't want to see that after he sustained an upper body injury. The last thing you want to see is a re-injury to that or a lower body injury.
Riggs on 2nd down, throws. That's complete to Bretzing. Bretzing again with a bit of a lane, and he's going to get the first down after a pickup of close to 12.
Well, it's not very often that 2 defenders will go up to gang tackle a guy, and he chooses to just put his head in between them and push through and get the first down.
Riggs now gives it to Bretzing, and again he's got a lane. Easton Bretzing into the secondary, puts his head down, and he gets a first down out to the 42-yard line. And boy, you talk about putting your head down. We got a man down, and it was the man who tried to make the tackle on him, Keegan Gomez. And I tell you what, Gomez got lifted, and this ain't good.
Yeah, no. We want to step aside for a second as the trainers are looking on him, hope that he's okay.
And we'll do just that. We'll be back after this word from the Salt Lake Running Company.
For over 25 years, Salt Lake Running Company has helped people of all ages and levels find the gear they need to start their fitness journey. From a free custom shoe fit analysis to a premium assortment of footwear and workout essentials, SLRC is a top 10 run shop in America. Locally owned, locally operated at 5 locations along the Wasatch Front, SLRC is there to help you gear up and get out. Visit a store near you or shop online at slrc.com.
Back here out of the timeout, Alexander Timolip, Alex Amrine here for Timpanogos football, presented by Brent Brown Toyota Scion on KSL Sports Rewind. Our telecast tonight presented by Heidemann and Associates in Western Governors University on a chilly, windy night here in North Orem, Utah. It has been all Timpanogos so far, the only mishap being the fumble return for a touchdown by Isaiah Cooper. Riggs throws, that is complete. McCann needs to make a man miss, he does. And Dash McCann is down inside the red zone to about the 17-yard line. That's enough for a first down.
And right there, McCann, you know, he was just running to the side. We've seen him so often run screen pass. We're kind of expecting that. He runs a wheel route, and that whole play was just designed around that one route. Great job right there. The Huskies defender just missed it for a good gain to set him up in the red zone.
Now a handoff up the middle and a big hole inside the 10, down to the 5, and running close and in for the touchdown. Timpanogos is number 38. That is Jayden Robinson, who normally plays on defense. And the big boy gets into the end zone for the first time this year.
Hey, spread the wealth when your offense is rolling like this.
16 yards.
Well, they just called it to Dash McCann, but it was Jayden Robinson who scored the
Harris
6.
to attempt the PAT.
So Reed Harris now to attempt the extra point to make it a 28-7 game. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is good. 28-7.
With 9:06
left here in the first half, as the fireworks get shot off again for the 4th time here in this first half. So while we have a moment here, we want to remind you next week, KSL Sports Rewind is proud to bring you more coverage of high school football. Join Dusty Litster and Brian Brown as Skyridge takes on Pleasant Grove. That's next Thursday, 7 o'clock on KSLSports.com. It's a Friday night, which means it is Rewind night. And Alex Amrine, I will tell you, one of the games we are excited to watch next week, Corner Canyon Lone Peak on ESPN. You talk about a must-see game. That could be your 6A state title game preview again for a second straight year.
Yeah, 2 great programs, 2 great schools, a lot of history, and you know they're doing great right now. Corner Canyon coming off that great upset victory against Sky Ridge. It's going to be super exciting to see that on national television as well.
Be the second straight year we have a Utah high school football game on ESPN. Last year was Corner Canyon against Bingham. That was on ESPN as Harris kicks this one right through the end zone, and it's through the uprights.
The end zone for a touchback.
It doesn't count, though.
Correction on the last touchdown. It was Jayden Robinson, the bowling ball, with the touchdown.
It was a product of what's to come on a night like this. I mean, the wind is blowing pretty stiff from the back of the kickers going towards that end.
Yeah, anyone who's going to be, it looks like it'll be the Timberwolves in the second and fourth quarter, or second and third. I sometimes get confused how they do the flipping of the fields, but it looks like they're going to have the advantage as far as the wind goes. So, maybe if they get stopped, maybe they'll try a long field goal. Their kicker's got a heck of a leg.
Well, Reed Harris will also have the benefit of the wind at his back, too. On 1st and 10 now from the 20. Here's Madry handing off to Solers, and Solers is going to get a decent gain of about maybe 5.
Solers with the carry for
to
a
the left
5-yard
side.
gain. 2nd down and 5.
28-7 is our score if you're just joining us. Alexander Timolip alongside Alex Amrine here at Timpanogos High School.
And if this Hillcrest team really wants a chance, I think they have to score a touchdown on this drive. They got to make a statement, show that they're still fighting.
There it is right there over the middle. Pass is caught by Hall. And Tall gets out to about the 40. They'll mark him officially at the 39, and that's enough for a first down for the Hillcrest.
And it's funny, this team, they run like plays that are almost designed to look like RPOs. They're really just play actions, but they have a quarterback who can run, so of course they're going to design those plays to keep the defense on their toes. Four wide receivers in the set. Solers in the backfield next to Madry.
Madry takes the snap, blitz coming. Madry in trouble, steps up, and he's going to be sacked. Brought down from behind there. Not much chance for him to get out of the pocket as Curtis King comes in to make the sack.
That was a great job by the defensive line. First, they were just playing contain, but they got a turn right there. Forced Micah up into the pocket, but then just the defensive tackle were there to meet him, bring him down for a loss of 2nd and long. Officially
under 8 minutes to go. The game clock is not working. Now it's rolling. So we're going to stop our official score bug and wait till it gets down to the time in the stadium as Madry's going to get sacked again.
Quarterback sack.
You know, Amron, that's one of the things I put in the game notes is that this Timpanogos defense
brings down Madry.
Had close to 20 sacks total in the first 4 games, but they haven't been able to get any pressure on the quarterback. So far, that's 3 sacks already they've had in the first quarter and a half.
You know, and it's hard. They're getting to there so quick. It's not even like a lot of these are coverage sacks per se. They're just breaking down the offensive line. They're having a hard time with their assignments, just getting overloaded. You know, and if I'm the Timberwolves side, I've always been a fan of just bringing the blitz in. That's the way I like defense. You know, bring it on.
Madry. They blew up that screen, and now Madry has to run for his life and throws it into the bench.
Madry's pass incomplete.
And that'll be 4th down and a mile, and we're going to see the punt unit again here.
Yeah, and that play was broken from the start. They had a guy running just on, a little fake jet. Looked like it was going to be an option, or excuse me, a play action right there. But, you know, the ball was snapped before the guy running that fake jet was even close to him, and so they just got right in there and disrupted it from the get-go.
So Madry's going to try his hand at the pooch punt here, as he'll split 5 into the set to try and cover his back while he tries to hit a line drive into the wind. He'll back up, and now he'll try it. And it's a sidewinder that's going to hop out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. That's where Timpanogos will start with the football. We also want to remind you that next week,
1st and 10.
KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of West High School football returns as the Cairns Cougars and the West High Panthers battle at Jean Plaga Stadium in what could be one of the biggest Region 2 showdowns of the season. And you'll hear the broadcast debut of Brett Hammer joining me, Alex Tumalip, at 7 p.m. next Friday on KSLSports.com. And let me tell you, Hammer's really excited to get on the air.
You know, I have the pleasure of working with Hammer, and he's a great guy. He's got some great knowledge, so, you know, look for some great insights into the game.
Yeah, and a lot of Top Gun references, too, as Riggs throws passes incomplete. Intended for Dash McCann, as Riggs got hit again there by Isaiah Cooper.
2nd down.
Yeah, Riggs right there feeling the pressure. Didn't get his feet set. Didn't get that ball out exactly as he liked. It was, you know, it was a tad behind. Still, the catch could have been made. But overall, good job by the defense getting to the backfield.
Robinson remains in the backfield on 2nd and 10 now from the 47. Riggs throws the back shoulder fade. That pass is caught by Hadley. And again, we've seen that back shoulder fade a couple times here tonight. Once to Livingston and once to Hadley. And it's worked out pretty well.
And I really like these back shoulder passes. You know, I think back shoulder passes are one of the prettiest and one of the most hard to execute passes right there. Chase Riggs showing that he's a master of such art.
Now we have a false start. I'm singing the praises of that offense, and now we got a flinch on the, or we could have an offside. Riggs is pointing and motioning. I think we're going to have an offside. Remember, there's no get back on an offside in high school football across the nation. If you flinch and move across the line, that's it.
No mercy.
Exactly. Just like they're doing with the equipment violations this year. We haven't seen, we saw one against Cedar Valley, but it just seems to be the trend, Amrine. Whenever we do a game, there's always an equipment violation because someone's knee's not covered.
Yeah, there hasn't been one yet, but we'll see.
Oh, you better not have jinxed it. Riggs pump fakes now, throws into coverage, and it's incomplete as Livingston wasn't looking. Some miscommunication there on that one, Amrine. And, boy, they're lucky they didn't get that one picked off because Braden Broyles was sitting right there in the middle of that zone, ready to pick it off and run it back.
Yeah, you know Broyles is so frustrated right there. You know, get the offense back on the field, give them a chance to score while the second quarter is still alive. That's frustrating one right there, just miscommunication on offense.
Bretzing's got a huge hole, and he's got a lane to the 20, 15, the 10, and steps out of bounds inside the 5. Or close to the 10, they'll mark him right there. And they just keep gashing and gashing away at that run. A 27-yard pickup for Bretzing. And the T-Wolves will get right back to the line.
You know, one thing I do want to mention, we were talking about knees not covered. Mateo Paul in the defense, if you see at the bottom of your screen, number 3, his knees aren't covered, so we'll see if he gets called. We've had a streak going without getting called. You know, I don't want to flag on him right for that, but
Alex Amrine, don't you dare!
I'm not saying anything to the refs.
They better not hear you. Riggs now, and throws, and that one looked like it sailed on him from the backfield. That pass was way too high there, intended for Cash McCann.
Second down.
You know, Cash McCann, he's got some speed. We've seen him out here already. Him in open field looked like he had 2 defenders to go, but gets the ball in his hand. I would have liked to have seen that.
Second down now from the 12. They can get a first down at the 2 without scoring. Good. Riggs throws, caught. Livingston inside the 5. He'll get down close to the first down. He'll get down to the 4. They'll mark it there. It's an 8-yard gain, and it'll be 3rd and
4-yard line.
Call it about maybe 2.
Yeah, good little crosses route right there. And I mean, it was pretty tight coverage, but Luke Livingston, so hard to stop.
And again, another offside.
Flag on the play.
And that's going to make it 1st and goal.
Offside against the Huskies.
Inside the 2-yard line for the Timberwolves.
And like you said, no get back right there. He just came up trying to anticipate it, maybe anticipating a little run by Bretzing as we've seen earlier in the game.
3rd and short.
Luke Livingston, by the way, has accounted for 23 now touchdowns this season. He has 1 tonight on the punt return. Empty set. And they give it to him. And he's going to get in easily.
Touchdown, T-Wolves!
Second touchdown of the night for Luke Livingston. Rushing touchdown number 8 of 2022 for number 2. Yeah. And that's total touchdown number 24.
Yeah, just again, just more things to put on his resume. You know, colleges who are looking at this kid, you know, he can do it all. We've seen him do so much out here tonight. We know what a threat he is through the air. We've seen him through the ground, even, you know, playing some quarterback when Chase Riggs was out, and heck, on a punt return earlier in this game in the first quarter.
Reed Harris now for the extra point. It is placed, it is kicked, it is good. 35-7
good.
With 6:10 to go here in the first half. We'll be back after this word from Western Governors University on KSLSports.com.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
Welcome back to KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of Timpanogos football, presented by Brent Brown Toyota Scion here on KSLSports.com. Alexander Timov alongside Alex Amrine. 35-7 is our score with 6:09 officially left here in the first half. Luke Livingston has recorded 2 touchdowns, 1 punt return, 1 rushing touchdown, his 8th of the season, and 24th total. And Easton Bretzing has the other 2 touchdowns. Harris kicks off right through the end zone again. This time it'll fall short of the crossbar.
Into the end zone for a touchback.
And again, we want to remind you, at kickoff, the wind was blowing at about 15 miles per hour. So it's a stiff breeze coming from right behind us here in the broadcast booth.
And just something I want to note to put things in perspective. I know we've seen this Hillcrest defense let up a lot of points thus far this season. With the exception of their first game of the year, they allowed an average of just below 49 points a game. But we're midway through, you know, getting close to halftime, and Timberwolves already put it 35. So that average could go up quite a bit by the end of this game if they keep on having their way.
And what's crazier about that, Amrine, is the 5 wins this year by Timpanogos, they have all scored over 45 points. They put up 41 on Jordan, 42 against Hurricane, 57 against Corona, which was way unexpected, then 42 against Mountain View, and then, of course, they put up 45 last week on Uintah as the pitch goes to the right side and nowhere to go for Mateo Tall.
Sweep off the right side. 1 yard loss on the play.
Lost about a yard on the play.
Yeah, and the offensive line just not having a lot of success. They're going to have to make some halftime adjustments or, change some things in their playbook that are better for their offense. Nothing right there. The offensive line broke down right there. That toss went nowhere.
Want to remind you, the mercy rule is 35 points, so once we hit 35 points, the deficit, we will hit a running clock. That is the standard across high school football as Madry steps up in the pocket, gets out of trouble, now rolls to his right, gets a block, and he's going to get run out of bounds as a flag goes down. And I suspect we're going to have a blindside hit on Marcus Sollers, the running back, who cleaned out Tage Litster. And he's having some trouble breathing because he got the wind knocked out of him on that one.
Yeah, that one's rough right there, and that's a shame because that's one of the few times that Micah Madry's been able to actually evade the pressure and get out of the pocket. You know he has that speed. The defense has just done a phenomenal job just closing the pocket, making it smaller and smaller until he's choked up and has nowhere else to go. Able to get it right there, but let's see what the flag is.
Austin Heaps wants to know if he wants to take the penalty. He will. So the blindside block penalty will back it up half the distance to the goal, and that'll make it second down again. $35-7 our score, in case anybody is listening on the KSL Sports Zone, 97.5 FM at 1280 AM. The Red Zone Show with Dusty Litster and Jeff Hansen back in Salt Lake City. Paul goes in motion. They swing it to him in the flat, and it's a high pass, incomplete.
Intended for Paul.
Timpanogos thought it was a lateral, and it was not. Now be third down again.
3rd and 20.
Yeah, and as a receiver right there, of course you have pretty much a lateral view to the quarterback, but you never know for sure what the rest perspective. You might think, oh, that one looked a little bit line of scrimmage, so it's just, it's like 3 flags up, dead or alive. Just get the ball, make sure that there's no chance that it's a lateral.
Yeah, you just got to jump on the football there and not take any chances with it. 3rd down and 20 now from the 10. And Madry will just keep it, an RPO throw, and that pass is incomplete off the hands of Braden Broyles. And it's 4th down, and we're going to see the punting unit again in the person of Michael Madry trying to hit a line drive into the wind.
And, even though in a lot of these RPO-style plays, these play actions haven't worked out, I'm really surprised that, that the offensive coordinator for the Huskies, has the trust in his offense to run those plays. I mean, those aren't easy plays to run. It's a lot of individual assignments right there. Incomplete pass right there, but he was open. It went through the hands of the receiver. It'll be great to see if they finally get that rolling. It'll be fun to see at a high school level.
They'll split 5 wide. And Madry will back it up. And we'll see how far he can kick this one. This time he hits a better line drive. And Livingston takes it on the run of the 42. And Livingston at the 30 stays on his feet. Does he have any friends? He's at the 20, 15, the 10, the 5, in for the touchdown. But there is a flag down at the 17-yard
there is a flag
line. And I have a feeling it's coming back for a holding, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't see which player it was on the Timberwolves side, but I saw him throw up his hands in the air as he saw the flag go up in reaction. So it looks like it will be on that said Timberwolves player.
Holding against Timpanogos.
So it is holding. That wipes out the punt return for Livingston. I mean, that would have been the hat trick.
Hat trick and number 25 on the year to boot.
Yes, he would have hit the silver ante, 25. But it was not to be. That, by the way, that punt return touchdown in the first quarter, that was his first career punt return touchdown he's had as a Timberwolf.
That would have been crazy if in his first game that he gets one. Why not get 2?
That would have been quite a feat. But anyway, it's Riggs in the gun now from the 28 on 1st and 10. Riggs throws, pass is caught. What a catch!
Pass is made by Josh Graff.
Josh Graff laid out and made the snag down to the 21-yard line, a pickup of 9.
And Josh Graff, he's been kind of one of those unsung heroes on this offense. Whenever they go to him, he's like old reliable. He just gets the job done. Great circus catch.
Riggs, pump fake, throws, and that pass is nearly picked.
Pass for Livingston goes incomplete.
Isaiah Cooper on the coverage of Livingston, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, and that was dangerous right there. It was the second time that we've seen a ball from Riggs just end up right in the arms of a Huskies defender. You know, neither of them have ended up going the other way, but, you know, you want to be careful with those.
And here's Bretzing on the carry. He's got the first down.
Easton Bretzing down to the 14-yard line.
Inside the 14-yard line.
A gain of 7. Good for another. T-Wolves.
And the Timberwolves just keep on marching here in the first half. Scored 21 in the first and are approaching 21 here in the second. Riggs swings it out. That's complete to Bretzing. Tripped up inside the 10. He'll be marked short of the first down, inside the 5 by about a half an inch.
Yeah, Bretzing, he's just smelling the end zone. He just jumped out, hoping to get as close as he can. He got it about to the 4-yard line or so.
Livingston lines up bottom of the screen, matched up against Mateo Paul. Second down from the 6. Riggs to his right, throws into the end zone for Graff, and it's through his fingers, incomplete.
Pass attempt for Graff.
Yeah, and once again, it'll be third down.
That ball was, you know, just a tad high, but all things considered, a good rollout by Riggs right there on the run. You know, one of the things I was curious about was how mobile Riggs is going to be able to be just with his shoulder. We saw last week, you know, he's a little stiff in his motion. It looks like he's definitely loosened up a lot more this week than he was last week. And a great throw on the run right there, just a bit out of the reach, however.
Third down and a yard now from the 5. Mark it officially at the 6. They can get a first down at the 5 without scoring. Bretzing in the backfield. Riggs trying to draw the Hillcrest defense offside. And Austin Heaps will signal for a timeout.
Timeout, Timpanogos.
And we'll take one with them as well. Back after this word from Brett Brown, Toyota Scion on KSLSports.com with the T-Wolves leading 35-7.
When Brent Brown Toyota in Orem became the #1 Toyota dealer in the nation in customer loyalty, our sales surged. That continued explosive growth leaves us without the amount of used cars to meet demand, paying unheard of prices for trade-ins, or we'll just buy your car outright at Brent Brown Toyota in Orem.
KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of high school football continues. Alexander Timberlip, Alex Amrine here at Timpanogos High School. 35-7 our score between Timpanogos and Hillcrest on this homecoming night. So Alex Amrine, I would suspect we might see a run here on third down, given the fact that, you know, the Timpanogos has just been as dominant as they have here in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. I don't think there'd be any reason why you wouldn't want to run right here unless you just want to, you know, try to catch the defense off guard. And, you know, they have an empty backset right here, so I guess we might go throw or maybe in a little bit of jet action.
And now Brock Bryant responds in kind with a TO.
I wonder if Brock Bryant right there was expecting a run, so, you know, he didn't have the look that he wanted. So
yes.
You're like, okay, let's get this sorted out.
Yeah, they had 2 receivers bunched up on the line, and so something must have been off in the works there on that side.
You know, sometimes when we see that look, we get a little bit of a crossing route and like a tight end look, something that my New England Patriots used to run back in the day in the early 2010s. You know, you saw it so often. So maybe something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's just my inner fan talking.
It's you and your Patriots references. I gotta love it. Every single game, we seem to have one. It just doesn't end.
Yeah, you'll have Top Gun references next week to the earful.
That's true. I will have the Top Gun references going with Hammer next week. Coming up at halftime, Alex Amrine and I will have thoughts from the first half, and we'll also have a look at scores from the other games around the network, and we'll also have a look forward to next week's huge game between Kearns and West. Of course, Kearns is playing Granger tonight, Amrine, and that's a big one too, because if Granger wins that one and West beats Kearns the next week, guess what? West against Granger for the Region 2 title in the final game of the year. Definitely have a look forward to all those games. We'll have a fireworks show coming up at halftime as well. We'll have some of that for you as well. On third down and 1 now, it's a backwards pass to Livingston, who's looking to throw, and he's not going to have anywhere to go here on this one, and he's just going to have to throw it into the end zone, and it's still caught for the touchdown!
No way!
Riggs to Livingston to Cash McCann. 5-yard touchdown.
5-yard touchdown catch for Cash McCann.
Harris to attempt the
25 touchdowns now on the season for Livingston.
This guy's the definition of a Swiss Army knife player.
Oh, goodness gracious.
He was about to get taken down by the defender, like, oh, that's cute, and just threw it for the touchdown.
Well, somewhere I hope Silas Clapham, the University of Hawaii Manoa's director of recruiting, is watching this, because that's a pretty special player right there as Reed knocks through the, misses the extra point.
With 3:18 left in the half.
So with 3:18 officially left in the half as
the
fireworks go off again. Boy, you talk about some fireworks, Sam Ryan. We've had some here in the first half. I mean, if that was the definition of what's gone on in the first half by Livingston standards, I'd say this has been pretty good.
Yeah, no, and I didn't really expect the Timberwolves to run a trick play like that, you know, a double pass. But, you know, I guess why not? It's working, and right there, it looked like it was being broken play. Like, oh, man, that would have been cool if it worked out. And then we were all astounded up here. I kind of just, like, was shaking my head in unbelief. I'm like, wow, that still somehow works.
So for Livingston, that is his 10th touchdown pass of the season. He now has a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a punt return touchdown, so he's hit the hat trick.
Yep.
So he needs one more. So he needs one more, the receiving touchdown, and he will have, Amrine, get this, he will have had a passing, receiving, and rushing touchdown for the 3rd time in 2022.
That's great. Well, I was thinking, you know, put him at safety, see if we can get a pick 6 or something.
Well, he got his first punt return touchdown for his career as a Timberwolf earlier tonight, as Harris will kick it through the end zone once again. There you go. See, I called it. Right through the uprights again.
Harris will kick off through the uprights and out of the end zone.
Whoever's kicking that direction might as well just forget about it. The kickoff is going to go through the end zone at this point.
That one's gone.
It's not a home run, but it might as well be. Second time that Reed's kicked it through the uprights tonight on the kickoff. But again, that's the product of what we've seen with the wind. The wind is blowing at about 15 miles per hour, and it's a stiff breeze.
You know, right here, you're running like a 4-minute style offense. You just want to put some points on the board, something positive to go into the half with, take away, and try and build upon. I'm assuming they're going to try to do something different because nothing's worked out here so far.
Maudry running for his life again, now just throws it up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Intended for Paul, and Nash Price swats it away.
From the coverage.
Yeah, Nash Price right there. Good job just high-pointing the ball.
And we have a flag down on the 25-yard line, and I think we may have an ineligible man downfield against the Huskies.
And we saw plenty of that in the last game that we called so many times over and over again. We were talking about how casual the refs were pulling out flags. And, yeah, you're right. Ineligible man downfield.
And Austin Heaps is going to decline the penalty.
Ineligible receiver downfield declined by the T-Wolves. 2nd down and 10.
So they'll take the incomplete pass, 2nd and 10.
And again, no running clock as they're only up by 34 with that mixed extra point. So we got a clock stopped at just over 3 minutes.
Yep, that's right. If Harris had made the extra point, we would have been in a running clock. Here's a handoff to Sollers. Sollers bursts through the line. He'll pick up about 4. Off right guard.
Good for a gain of 3.
Vance made the stop along with Brighton Tate, and it'll be 3rd down and 7 again.
Now, and I could expect a little rollout throw right here, or it's a little slant over the middle. They got 2 receivers out to the right. You'd expect a little in route or maybe an out. They've done that quite a few times tonight.
The Huskies started Braden Wetzel at Wildcat quarterback earlier tonight, and then Maudry came in the 2nd quarter for those that missed it. And now he's going to drop back to pass, and he's going to have no time at all. He was sacked in a matter of seconds. That was King all over him, and King just put the crown right on top of his head.
Oh, yeah, there you go right there. I like that. And, you know, one thing right there, it almost looks like they're running just like tackling drills, you know, with the big foam dummies. They're just swatting them away. And again, to the quarterback, just offensive line is just not doing their job. They're just not getting it done right here as we come out for another, as what we'll assume to be another little pooch punt.
4th sack of the game for the Timpanogos defense. King's 2nd of tonight. And Maudry almost got the T-Wolves defense to jump offside, but now they'll drop back. Livingston back to, get the punt. And this punt is a shank. And that's going to roll out of bounds inside the 15. That's pretty much how it's gone here in the first half for the Huskies.
I don't know for sure, but that might have been very close to a negative yardage punt, which I don't know how often you see.
I think that was a -3 yard punt, Brian.
-3 yard, oh man. And Madri,
how often you see that?
He's got to be frustrated, that they haven't gotten the wheels rolling on offense so far. He's coming in, we know what an explosive player he can be, but this Timberwolves defense, they're just putting up, a steel curtain, so to speak, right there, and then a punch to boot. That's gonna be rough.
Livingston lines up on the right side, Riggs in the gun. And they're gonna hand it to Bretzing, and he's gonna follow his blockers right up the seam, and he gets tripped up inside the 5.
Brought down to the 5.
And it'll be 1st and goal again.
It's a 10-yard gain. Good for another. T-Wolf.
Heard that quite a bit here tonight. Theme of the night.
Yeah, because I don't even know if the Huskies have even reached 5 first downs. I think that would be surprising if they have reached that many. But the Timberwolves on the other side, they gotten up by quite a bit, and it looks like they're trying to figure out something with the play clock right here.
No, I think they're trying to figure out where the spot of the ball is. I think that's what it is, because right now the down marker reads second.
I see.
So they'll mark him. So they're actually going to mark Bretzing a yard short. We're going to wait till the clock gets inside of where we are, but that doesn't matter because Bretzing's going to get the handoff. He's going to break a couple of tackles. He's going to get in. Touchdown. Or was he short?
They're going to mark him just
short. They're going to mark him short of the goal line again.
Right. Ruled just short of the goal line.
Apologies, folks. I got ahead of myself.
4-yard gain.
Hey, we're just muscle memory at this point, the way the offense is going.
Under a minute now here in the first half. 1st and goal now from the half-foot line. So about first down and a Musubi to go here. Livingston's going to audibilize, and he's just going to punch it in himself, and he does, but there is a flag.
Flag on the play.
And everybody looked like they were moving at the snap toward the line of scrimmage, which you're not allowed to do.
False start against the T-Wolves.
So instead of 1st and a Musubi, it's going to be 1st and 5.5 now.
Yeah, it's 26 touchdowns this season, not so fast right there. Set him back 5, make him try something else.
Yeah, that's one thing that's going to drive Austin Heaps crazy is that mistake right there, that mental mistake.
Yeah, because it looked like that play was going to work right there, just right up the middle.
Yep. 42 seconds left here in the first half. Riggs in the gun. Bretzing in his left hip. Pump fakes, looks for Graff, throws for Graff, and it's through his fingers, incomplete.
For Graff goes incomplete.
Second time we've seen that tonight, but again, just a little too tall there by Riggs.
Yeah, right there, and the pass had to be tall right there. He had that safety crashing at the last second, so, I don't think it's a bad decision. Just, we've seen 2 throws by Riggs now to Graff, just a hair too high.
Now he's going to hand to Bretzing. Touchdown.
Touchdown, T-Wolves.
That's Bretzing's 3rd touchdown of the first half. And with 30 seconds to go here in the first half, now we have reached
Harris to attempt the P.
The 35-point mercy rule. So Reed Harris, who missed the last extra point, will try not to pull a Jake Oldroyd here.
That was brutal.
Sorry about that, folks. I had to say it. Good snap, good hold, and the kick this time is good.
The AT is good with 30 seconds left in the first half.
30 seconds left here in the first half.
48, Husky 7. On your
48-7 is now your score. Here between Timpanogos and Hillcrest. So Alex Amrine, I turn to you now, and I think this is pretty much what we thought we were going to see here tonight. But we have to give the Huskies a whole bunch of credit because they have been moving the ball. The trouble is the offense just stagnated the last few drives.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I think that Timberwolves just have all the answers. It feels like they're just, it's almost like they have their playbook. Like they already know what's going down before it even starts. Like I said, there's always halftime adjustments, but this game has gone the way that we expected. We were kind of hoping that, you were saying that crazier things have happened on nights like these, but it looks like this Husky side, unless they have one heck of a comeback in the second half, we're going to fall to 0-8 on the season.
But this Huskies team does have a very bright future. ahead of them with Micah Maudry at quarterback. Harris will kick off. Wind died down, but he still will kick it through the back of the end zone here. And through the uprights again.
Kickoff once again into the end zone for a touchback. 1st and 10, Hillcrest.
Been the theme of the night on the kickoffs. Whoever's kicking towards that end of the field is just going to kick it right through the end zone. We've expected that for about a few minutes, for a few hours now.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect the Huskies offense to do anything crazy. Just, run the ball, see if they can get anything big going, maybe try and, set them up for a long throw or something like that. But I expect them to just want to get in halftime get into halftime in the locker room and regroup.
We will be in a running clock now, meanwhile. The clock only stops on scoring plays from here on out once we reach a 35-point barrier. That's the standard across high school football in the country. Maudry loads up for the deep shot, throws down the field, and the pass is caught.
Maudry's pass complete to Hoskins.
That's caught by Stevie Hoskins.
Down at the 48-yard line.
Clock stops while they set the chains, and then they will go. Maudry again, looking, throws a deep shot again, this time in a coverage, and it's nearly picked.
Pass incomplete.
Pass is incomplete there, intended for number 19,
Matthew Hall
Gage Piper.
2nd down.
Yeah, and Mike has gotten that ball out quick. He has a good little touch pass on there, but it's so hard when receivers don't even have a leg ahead of the defenders right there, because that just leaves it up to be just a jump ball.
Coming up at the half, we will leave our stream on while we present the Timpanogos homecoming celebration, complete with the fireworks show. Our good man Chase Campbell will take care of that for you. And Amrine and I will just sit back and watch as Maudry here on 2nd and 10, running for his life, now throws it into the dirt.
Maudry's pass incomplete.
And incomplete.
Intended for Mateo Paul.
Mateo Paul, the intended target. And it'll bring a 3rd down again.
And 10.
That, by the way, Amrine, I looked it up in the rule book. The record for first downs allowed, I believe, according to the UHSA rule book, is 0. That was all the way back when they were playing with rubber helmets.
Huh.
But I'll have to look that up tonight. We may be getting close to that as Maudry is out of trouble now, rolls to his right, running for his life, now really running for his life, and now just shovels it to Sollers, who bats it down as time expires.
Pass. That's the end of the first half. Our score, T-Wolves 48.
Well, I think that's the most exciting play we've seen from Micah all night so far, just running for his life. I mean, I said before the pregame, reminds me of Lamar Jackson. He certainly has the elusiveness of him.
So we reach halftime with your score 48-7 in favor of the Timpanogos Timberwolves, and Alex Amrine, about what we expected, I think, in the first half.
Yeah, no, I think it's been all around a great side, but it's crazy to think that Hillcrest only points came from, at this point I think we say just a fluke of a play, a little scoop and score taken back for the touchdown. Otherwise this game would be 48-0, but 48-7 going into halftime. And I think that we might see some second stringers in the second half.
That'll do it for our coverage here in the first half.
Homecoming celebration
KSL Sports Rewinds.
Our returning alumni.
Presentation of Timpanogos football is presented by Brent Brown, Toyota Scion. We'll be back in just a few moments with the homecoming presentation for Timpanogos High School, and we'll also have the fireworks show for you. Our score at the half is Timpanogos 48 and the Hillcrest Huskies 7. KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of high school football continues in just a moment.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Welcome back, everyone. KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of Timpanogos football is presented by Brent Brown Toyota Scion. With the second half about to start, Timpanogos leading 48-7 over the Hillcrest Huskies. And Alex Amrine with myself, Alexander Timolip here. As Alex Amrine, we're both BYU students. We know what's playing on the loudspeakers right about now. That's pretty much what the Hillcrest Huskies have hit this whole first half, is a whole bunch of turbulence.
Yeah, no, and they really haven't gotten anything going. I mean, defensively, you know, we talked about it in pregame, you know, just a lot of lack of hustle, not a lot of discipline. And I think when you face a player or just a team that has a player like Luke Livingston and so many other superstars, you know, you got the Graff brothers, wide receivers. We also got, you know, a great quarterback in Chase Riggs, who's injured, by the way, but still having a great game. It's going to be a long night for a team like this, especially when on the offensive side of the ball, they can't even keep it close.
And speaking of creating havoc in the first half, Luke Livingston was doing just that in the first half. Luke Livingston had receiving touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a punt return touchdown. He needs only one more, the rushing touchdown, and he will have his trifecta for the third time in 2022. I mean, this kid's off the charts.
Yeah, no, and he almost had that rushing touchdown. Remember, they tried that little quarterback sneak on the Wildcat play, but it got called back because of a false start. He almost had it all right there. You know, the way things are going, it's just a matter of time before he does get that.
Second half is about to kick off again. We will be under a running clock.
I think one thing that this Hillcrest Husky team really needs to do on the offense, play the outsides. They've been trying a lot in the middle, a lot of plays just out of shotgun. It's not working. You don't have time. Get that ball out quick. Get plays, you know, just get, you know, Micah feeling like he's got some rhythm in him, and then open the play back up from there.
Harris kicks off. Theme of the night. It goes right through the end zone once again. This time not out the back of the end zone. Again, the clock will only stop on scoring plays. It will continuously run once the ball is snapped.
For a touchback. 1st and 10, Hillcrest.
So we will see. I believe it's going to be Micah Maudry to start the third quarter. Unless I get my hunch wrong and we see Braden Wetzel again.
And we might see Wetzel because, I mean, Mike is hard to miss. You got that big stature towering over everyone else, and I don't see him out on the field, so it looks like they are going to go with a different offensive unit out here.
There's also a flag down at the 40. And I believe we're going to have the kickoff called back.
Procedure against Timpanogos.
And we'll have the kickoff called back because it doesn't look like everybody was on the line. So we're going to need to kick it again. So that's probably why Micah Maudry wasn't out there, because the kickoff wasn't done properly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those rules that's such a fine-tuning rule where it's odd when it happens, but it happens more often than you'd think. Going to push the ball back a little bit, or rather, it looks like they are just going to re-kick it.
Yeah, re-kick it. Oh, they're going to push it back to the 35, yes.
Looked like Reed wasn't aware.
So it doesn't look like this kickoff is going to go through the end zone. It'll at least reach there or close to it, reach close to the end zone.
Is that a challenge you're posting to Reed? Because I don't know. He's done well. So far, the wind has cooled down a little bit.
Well, the wind has died down a bit, but he's still got the leg, you would think, to at least get it close to the end zone. This time from the 35. This is another line drive, and it will reach the end zone this time, and it will be a touchback off the hands
for a touchback
of the returner.
1st and 10, Hillcrest.
So once again, it's a 41-point game, and we have another flag down at the 30, not at the 42-yard line. And it's on the opposite side of the field, and I think this time this may actually be against the Huskies. And it is.
Personal foul against the Huskies.
So that'll back the Huskies up inside the 20. And make it 1st and 10, half the distance to the goal.
So I guess that did end up going in the Timberwolves' favor right there. Great kicking.
From the 10-yard line.
Yep. So the clock runs. As it will for the Bercy rule. Maudry looking, throws. That is complete. And in fact, that is an incomplete pass.
Incomplete. 2nd down.
Again, clock does not stop here in the second half.
Yeah, that was a big hit right there.
I think that was Yosefo right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. That was a Malachi Batimana who took a little bit to get up. Sure had the wind knocked out of him after a big hit from Yosefo.
On 2nd down, Maudry steps to the pocket, rolls to his right now, throws. That's complete on the run. And getting out close to the 20-yard line is Piper.
Pass complete to Gage Piper.
And something else that I'm surprised, maybe this is
Back
just
down
a
to
coaching
18.
decision that, the coach has really
Third
drilled into
down
Micah.
and
But,
2.
he's got the legs, but it looks like so often, even when he does have a bit of green grass in front of him, he takes that extra second or two to see if there is a receiver. He did find him right there, but there's been so many times where it's led to incompletions or sacks because he's hesitated so long. I'd like to see him just, bite at the opportunity when there is green grass.
Well, speaking of green grass, here it is right here. As Maudry's going to pick up a first down across the 20, and then it takes a whole gang of Timberwolves to bring him down at about the 23-yard line.
With the quarterback keep. Forward progress stopped at the 24-yard
And so that
line.
will be a first down for the Huskies.
1st and 10, Hillcrest.
Again, their only points came off a fumble return touchdown by Isaiah Cooper. And since then, it's been all Timpanogos.
Yeah, this offense, they don't really struggle to put points on the board like we've noted so many times as another flag comes out.
Yeah, it's a false start here against the Hillcrest Huskies.
Well, now things are going in the trend of the way we call
False
games.
start against Hillcrest.
Now we just need that equipment violation.
Don't say it. It's going to happen. You know it's going to happen at some point. Again, the running clock rule, in case anybody remembers, is it stops for scoring plays and also stops for penalties.
1st and 15.
It will continuously run even if the team gets the first down. That is, if the score goes over 35 and stays over 35, which we are at right now, we are at a 41-point game. Maudry throws. That pass is dropped and incomplete.
Pass incomplete.
Intended there for Broyles.
So far, one thing that I'm liking to see, just had a handful of plays, but thus far it looks like, as far as the tempo of the plays themselves, Micah is trying to get the ball out a lot quicker, which is one of the things that I said they need to do if they want any chance in going in the game. With the running clock, it's going to be so hard to get back into the game. And, they still only gotten about 10 yards in total on this drive.
Maudry looking, throws. That is complete, wide open, and making the catch of the 40. And getting brought down there is Malachi Batimana. And that's enough for a first down to the 40.
Yeah, Batimana right there. That was a good little route just in the slot. He kind of just went through, found the little zone as they were playing zone right there, found the little hole and just sat in there for the open yard. Good gain. Set him up for, about 20-yard pass.
Marcus Sollers remains in the backfield as a single setback on 1st and 10. They'll give it to him on the right side. And he's got a lane to the right side, and he'll get pulled down at about the 43. First contact made by Nash Price. Pick up a 3.
And right there from this angle, it looked like he was going to have a little bit of an angle and it took it outside even further, but good job right there by Nash Price taking him down. That's another thing that's been so good tonight is really good tackling so far. Not a lot of slipped ups. We saw that a lot against Cedar Valley. They were just getting run all over, could not make good tackles, but so far so good.
Maudry gets out of a sack, now throws on the middle, passes, batted up, batted again, and incomplete.
Pass incomplete.
Intended for Batimana. Price got his hand on it. And then Jose Reyes almost got that one as well, and it'll bring up 3rd down again.
Yeah, right there. Those are the kind of just tip drill plays that defensive backs dream of, and it's just a matter if the ball is going to bounce your way after the deflection. That one went towards out of bounds, but I'm sure that free safety over the top was just thinking, oh, man, I can get it, and there's a lot of green grass ahead.
3rd down and 8 now. Again, running clock here because of the mercy rule. Sollers remains a single setback. Maudry, blitz coming, rolls out of to his left, and now he's sacked. MJ Yosefo gets into the backfield and brings him down. And Marcus Sollers is getting up slow. Looks to be okay though.
Yeah, it looks like he just got twisted up at the bottom of that pile right there. It's interesting. I was actually going to make a note. I'm like, oh, it looks like it's a clean tackle. It looked like one of the situations that the defender could have wanted to put an extra hit on Micah as he was already going down. So his knee hadn't touched the ground yet. But like, oh, it was clean. And then it looked like a bunch of people got a little tangled up, including the running back there.
So Maudry will punt it again. He had a -3-yard punt the last time. Tyler Hunter back to receive for the Timberwolves, standing back on his own 26. And this time it's a much better punt. And Hunter will let it go. And it will die right at the 36-yard line. Touchdown there by Piper.
Down at the 36-yard line.
Absolutely an improvement from the previous net -3-yard punt that we saw earlier from Micah.
Yeah, it was a little bit better that time by Micah Maudry. I want to remind you, KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of high school football continues next week on Thursday. as Mark Winterton and Jake Hatch bring you coverage of Westlake against American Fork. That's next Thursday at 7 o'clock here on KSLSports.com. Riggs in the shotgun, hands off now to Robinson. Robinson gets over the 40. And he gets brought down right at the 41-yard line to pick up a 5.
5-yard gain on the
Isn't it
play.
an absolute shocker that when you think it's a 5 or 6 yard gain, like, oh, that was one of their, like, not as good runs of the night.
Yes, really. Yeah, because we kicked off the night with a, 20-something yard run by Bretzing. But now we have some of the second stringers in there right now for the Timberwolves as Robinson gets the handoff again, has the first down, and a little bit more. He breaks a tackle, still on his feet, at the 40, at the 35, and he finally gets brought down in a gang tackle.
Rolling forward into Husky territory.
And he gets to the 35. That's more than enough for a first down. That's probably more like what we saw most of the night.
No, that seemed like the average run right there. The other one before that was kind of an anomaly. And just to put things in perspective really quick, so the most points that the Hillcrest Huskies have led up this season was against Viewmont, 73-16, back in the middle of August. And so there's a very real possibility that this could be one of the worst games for them defensively. I mean, we'll see if they're able to score upwards of 70.
And here's another run and getting into the secondary, and again, breaking tackles down close to the 20-yard line. That's another new player in. That's Stratton Lewis, who's getting the touches now as giving the
left side.
As the clock continues to run.
14-yard gain.
Another 14 yards for Stratton Lewis.
Yeah, and I wonder if when they get closer into the goal line territory, if they're going to bring back Luke Livingston in there, try to get him his final touchdown to complete that resume for this game, as he's not out on the field right now.
Well, he's on the sideline right now, and Amrite, I would have to think, given the fact that the scoreline is where it is, I sincerely doubt they would put him in at this point.
Yeah, no reason to.
Right, and here's Lewis again on the handoff inside the 15 down to the 10. He gets taken down at about the 11-yard line.
Close to first down yardage.
And actually, that's not Stratton Lewis, it's Cooper Polk. That's getting the carries now.
So we've seen quite a few different running backs get the rock so far in this game. Because we saw 2 or 3 in the first half, and then we 2 new ones here. So they certainly know how to distribute the ball out, and they're just continuing to drive it just downfield. I know it was Bretzing who was just running just downhill so well, and it looks like some of these other running backs further down on the depth chart are doing just as well.
Well, they give it off on the fly sweep, and that was blown up immediately as McCann goes nowhere. He gets brought down at the 20, hard, and that didn't fool anybody there on that Hillcrest side of the defense. Actually, McCann got nailed to the turf.
Yeah, McCann, that's definitely not been the trend for him running the ball. We've seen him have some good runs, including a touchdown right there. A little slow to gut. Maybe it was more disappointment than pain.
Here's a pitch to Polk on 3rd down and 9, and he's going to go nowhere. And so, given that the score line is where it is, we're going to see the field goal unit, and here comes Reed Harris. That's, by the way, Amrine, I believe is the first negative runs of the night.
First negative runs,
yeah.
And I think it's going to be, other than, correct me if I'm wrong, but other than just that fumble that was returned for a touchdown by the Husky defense, this is going to be the first time that I believe that a Timberwolves drive hasn't resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, even other than that, I guess all Timberwolves drives have been in a touchdown. Just one of them was for the other team. But, this is the first time we're going to see Reed out. We see what a good leg that he has just on kickoffs to see if he can throw him through the uprights.
38-yard attempt from the left hash for Reed Harris. Good snap, good hold, the kick on the way, and it is
Harris's
good.
Field goal is good with 2:42 left in the third quarter. T-Wolves 51, Huskies 7.
2:42 left to go.
Time.
Here in the third quarter. And it is 51-7 in favor of Timpanogos. We'll be back after this quick word from Brent Brown Toyota Scion on KSLSports.com.
When Brent Brown Toyota in Orem became the #1 Toyota dealer in the nation in customer loyalty, our sales surged. That continued explosive growth leaves us without the amount of used cars to meet demand. Paying unheard of prices for trade-ins, or we'll just buy your car outright at Brent Brown Toyota in Orem.
51-7 your score. Alexander Timolip and Alex Amrine.
We have 2:42 left with Titans Den being open. Head down and get your last-minute snacks now.
We'll bring you up to date on the scores that we're seeing around the state on the red zone. We promised we would at halftime, but of course we were caught up in the homecoming presentation and the fireworks show. We hope you all enjoyed that. It's been a dominant homecoming performance here by the Timpanogos Timberwolves with 2:42 still left on the meter here in the third quarter as Harris kicks it off to the right this time, and it will go in the end zone for a touchback.
And so Hillcrest has actually only ever had one game so far this season where they haven't scored an offensive touchdown, and that was their first game of the year against Crest High back in August, where they lost 3-0. So that's some old Leatherhead style football right there.
Goodness gracious. I mean, you're talking about way old school. You're talking about the Iowa South Dakota State game earlier this year that was 7-3, and the two safeties were a part of the scoring for Iowa. I mean, that was leather helmet football at its best right there.
Yeah, and excuse me, they also only scored 6 points against Tuello. So that's another game to know. Oh, good catch right there, back shoulder.
Right. Good catch there by Mateo Paul. Nash Price with the tackle. And now we got a man down here. And this doesn't look good. This looks like a knee injury to Gage Piper. And this is not something you want to see because it looked like Piper got his knee caught in the turf. And this isn't good. This is the last thing you want to see if you're a Hillcrest fan.
Yeah, and my eyes were focused on the catch there. Was it look like a no contact knee injury? You said just get.
If it was, I mean, that's not good.
No, that's never. I mean, that's always, I feel like, worse nowadays. And that's one of the problems I feel like with some of this turf. Sometimes it's so good at helping you, make those cuts and stuff. Sometimes, it makes those cuts on your knees that you don't usually intend. But we'll step aside for a moment. Hope that he gets up on his own strength.
Yeah, we're hoping the best for Gage Piper. You see, Coach Brock Bryant. We'll step aside and we'll be right back.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the... At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Well, Gage Piper walking off the field with some major assistance. Alexander Timolip, Alex Amrine here. 51-7 our score with 2 minutes and 13 seconds officially here in the third quarter at Timpanogos High School. Again, we are on a running clock because of the 35-point mercy rule. It was 48-7 at halftime, and Timpanogos added to their lead with a 38-yard field goal by Reed Harris.
Yeah, and despite the punt that we saw in the last Husky drive, I did like the tempo that they had, as I've mentioned before, and we had a good catch right there over the middle before the injury timeout. Oh, it's a muff punt. That's not what you want to see, or muff snap.
Yep, Maji's rolling for his life now, throws. It's incomplete. Intended there for Broyles, and it'll be third down and again. And Amrine, the funny thing about this game is that Hillcrest early on in the game looked like they had some tempo. They were moving the football very well. This team has a really good foundation, I think, to build on in the future.
No, absolutely. And Mike has got a few more years left in him,
right,
to play here at high school.
Pass is caught out on the edge, trying to make a man miss. Is Stevie Hoskins, and Hoskins gets thrown down by Race Helm. It'll be fourth down, and it's going to be another punt.
Pass complete to Hoskins.
For the Hillcrest Huskies.
Brings up 3rd and 9.
Actually, check that. It will be third down now. Remember, the first down play went for no gain, and then the first down play was an incomplete pass. Second down was also an incomplete pass. Now this is third down. Madri steps up in the pocket, trying to get away from trouble, and he is brought down. The ball comes out, and it looks like Timpanogos has it. And then it's loose again at the bottom of the pile. And who's got this one? Big scrum near the sideline.
Fumble on the play.
And it is Timpanogos football. Or rather, it's Or rather, it is Hillcrest football still. So it was fumbled again. And so after all that, Hillcrest will keep it.
Yeah, and right there, Micah, I bet he had a sigh of relief that they got the ball back after that one. Reminds me, well, I feel like there's so many times like that where you just see it, and those are always some of the most crazy fun plays to watch. Reminds me of the BYU ASU game last year where Darren Hall threw a bad interception. Tyler Algier was able to get the ball back on the tomahawk punch out as the refs go to discuss something. But right there, Micah, he's trying so hard to get the ball, make something out of nothing, pull a rabbit out of a hat. But so often when you do that, you're loose looking for a pass. If you get taken down, you're all the more likely to fumble it.
Just trying to discuss where the ball was supposed to be spotted off the fumble. So it was fumbled and fumbled again. And the fumble ended up being recovered by Hillcrest. So after all that, it's still 1st and 10. Interesting. Here's Marcus Sollers now up the middle, and that, with one final tackle, will take us to the 4th quarter. A very fast 3rd quarter, but that's what happens when you have the mercy rule on.
Last into the 3rd quarter, our score.
And your score at the end of 3 is
Huskies 7.
Timpanogos 51, Hillcrest 7. Back to start the 4th in just a moment after this word from Western Governors University.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
KSL Sports Rewind's presentation of high school football is presented all season long by Western Governors University, UCCU, and Heidemann and Associates. We'd like to remind you that Timpanogos football and KSL Sports Rewind is presented by Brent Brown Toyota Scion. Alexander Timolip, Alex Amrine here at Timpanogos High School in North Orem, Utah. We'll be checking in on scores from around the state as they happen on the KSL Sports Live Rewind Red Zone. As we're underway, Madry drops the snap and has to eat it again.
Madry jumps on the
And that has to have been the 3rd or 4th just miscued snap right there. Fortunately, there hasn't been a turnover on any of those, but I bet Mike has just got to be getting frustrated with himself because, unless there is just a miscommunication going on with the snap count, it looks like it is just going right in and out of his hands. Just falls on it right there, doesn't try to make anything else happen out of that play.
Rolling clock because of the mercy rule here with 11:15 to go and rolling here in the 4th. We're looking in on the red zone right now. American Fork leading Pleasant Grove 17-0 as Madry pump fakes, throws into the seam, and it's nearly picked.
Pass incomplete.
And really and truly, Amrine, that should have been picked off there by Stratton Lewis.
No, yeah, Willis right there just read it right. He made the play right there. Just unfortunately went in and out of his hands, And that's one thing that's interesting. There's only been one turnover so far this night, and it came at the...
And it was the fumble return by Cooper.
It's by Hillcrest. You'd think that the way the score goes that there'd be more turnovers on behalf of the Timberwolves defense, right there, just a little slip up. And I think, Mike, if he had just waited just a second, he could have just put a little bit more of a rainbow arc on that, and I think that one could have gone the distance. Good throw, but just great defensive play.
Madry now to punt. Another low snap, and he gets off a rugby-style kick into the arms of Lewis, and they're right on top of him. Broyles brings him down at about the 38-yard line.
Punt brought down to the 40-yard line. 1st and 10,
right there, that was kind of a weird just line drive punt. It's so unpredictable the way those bounce, especially when they're line drive like that. But a good pickup
2021 Teacher of the Year
by the returner, making sure it wasn't muffed.
We also have Todd Grantham, Gabe Bodley, and Jody Benson. Thank you for your work down there, boys.
10:09 left here in the 4th quarter. Alexander Timolip and Alex Amrine here with the T-Wolves of Timpanogos leading 51-7. As we're looking in on the KSL Sports Live Rewind Friday Night Red Zone. American Fork leading Pleasant Grove 17-0. You can catch the other games on the KSL Sports Rewind Network. And our 4th running back of the night is Chance Pope, who picks up about 6.
And I think the fact that they've been able to have, we'll see more of Pope throughout the rest of this quarter after a good gain right there, I think not only does it show the great depth they have at running back, but just the offensive line and just what a great job they do creating holes, creating penetration against the defensive front. A defensive front that, I really wanted them to be able to put pressure on Chase Briggs. I think they touched him maybe once or twice. No sacks on him. So a great job of the offensive line right there. And I think all around, this is just a very, very talented team with a bright future ahead of them with a young quarterback in Chase Briggs.
Want to bring you up to date on another score we're watching right now. Grantsville and Morgan. Morgan leading 31-13 right now over the Cowboys as another handoff to Pope, and Pope's going to have a first down as he gets gang tackled right at the 43-yard line. And that's enough for another first down. Timpanogos will play Tula next Thursday. Dusty Litster has the call. Dusty Litster, the boys have the call for you. Starting at 7. As Morgan's now gone up 37-13 on Grantsville with 10 minutes and 4 left in the fourth quarter. Remember, you can watch the Red Zone on KSLSports.com. You can also follow it on the radio on 97.5 FM and 1280 AM. Riggs hands off to Polk. Polk is dragged down from behind after a pickup of about a yard.
Stratton Lewis with the carry.
And actually, that is Stratton Lewis now with the carry. And as we're following that, keep you up to date on some things going on around the region. Payson leading Tula right now, 28-7. So, Alex Amrine, it's getting interesting now because we talked about how if Timpanogos wins this, they're still in the region race, even though they're staring down the necks of the Cedar Valley Aviators and the Payson Lions and the Stansbury Stallions. There's a chance this could go all the way down to the last weekend because we know it might go down to the last weekend in Region 2.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of exciting possibilities. For me, that's one of the most exciting things about football, and especially at the high school level. Anything can happen. So much changes week to week. And with that Payson Twilla game, Twilla, of course, is going to be playing Timpanogos up there in Twilla on the road. But everything, I think it'll definitely be a harder opponent than the Hillcrest Huskies team that we've seen out here tonight. But so far, I think if they keep things rolling, keep making adjustments where they need to, they're going to have a great game next week.
Want to bring you up to date also on a game that we're watching, Skyridge and Lone Peak. LP is leading 16-10 late in the third as Stratton Lewis gets the carry. He'll be short of the first down by about 5.
Lewis runs down to the 37.
And considering where the T-Wolves are out on the field, they are going to go ahead and it looks like from here they're going to bring out the punting unit, it looks like, unless they're going to try a field goal. And it is going to be a field goal. We'll bring you up to date on the Stansbury Mountain View game in just a second.
To attempt a 53-yard field goal.
And boy, Amrine, this is a 53-yarder into the wind by Reed Harris.
I mean, let's see. I mean, that last kick, of course, he had a bit of a wind advantage, not a lot. The winds had gotten up a bit to its strength to what it was in the first half, but he had plenty of distance after that first kick, so this is going to be quite the kick.
It acts almost like a punt in a sense. If you're the Timberwolves, it is placed, it is kicked, and it is well short.
Well, I'm surprised there wasn't a encroachment right there, even just a false start, because it looked like there were several people moving on both sides of the ball, but I guess the ref just let that one go, figuratively and literally, into the back of the end zone.
Kick goes into the end zone for a touchback.
So kick goes into the end zone for a touchback. And Amrine and I would like to remind you, Amrine's going to be off next week, but Brett Hammer will get his broadcast debut next week on Friday. And Alex Amrine, we talked about that. You brought up that Stansbury game just a few moments ago. Stansbury and Mountain View 49-0. I mean, we talked about how this could be a 3-horse race between Stansbury, Cedar Valley, and Timpanogos. Now it looks like it could be a 4-horse race at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like we said, so many just different possibilities. And we're going to keep you up to date on all the other scores going around the league. It looks like that was one of the better runs that we've seen all night by the Hillcrest side.
Yeah, now they have most of the subs in. Do the
Slows with a carry close to first down yardage.
Do the Timberwolves here. 5:25 to go. We're on a running clock here. It has been all Timberwolves here on this homecoming night. Audrey drops the pass. Pressure coming, rolls to his left. Looked like he got his face mask pulled, but he got the first down anyway.
Yeah, good move
As
right there by
Marley Osefo, MJ's brother, brings him down. Want to bring you up to date. Amrine just flashed the score. Cedar Valley leads Uintah in the third, 24-3. And we saw what Cedar Valley is able to do. I mean, that rushing attack they have with Clayson Jenkins and Joel Lomu, and with Cooper Thompson at quarterback, that's a dangerous team to watch come playoff time.
Yeah, Cooper Thompson, he's one of those guys, not a super flashy quarterback or anything like that, but just so consistent in his play. Just very reliable guy, can get the ball out quick, get the ball to their big wide receivers. And then, like we said, Jenkins, just absolute workhorse, just pulling the ball over. Not a big guy, but his size, his play defies his size.
Audrey on second down, throws over the middle, pass is caught, and into the secondary at the 40, at the 35, and down to the 30. And the ball came out after the player went down. There's also a flag down.
Jackson with the reception.
Zion Jackson made the catch.
Yeah, I was thinking that it was a bit of a horse collar tackle.
It looked like he got him up around the chin. We'll see what they say. Clock stops with 4:03 left here in the game. Again, the running clock stops only for penalties and scores.
So you're saying maybe even a bit of a face mask? It was up by the chin, is that what you said?
Well, the face mask rule is you grab it either by the helmet opening or up by the chin strap. So so any opening around the helmet or any place around the helmet in college and high school football is a face mask, and that's what's been called.
Face mask against the T-Wolves.
Been the rarest penalty we've seen tonight, though. I mean, we haven't had that many penalties.
No, not that many. Pretty clean game on both sides. We saw, I think that...
And this will be the first time that Hillcrest will trek into the red zone tonight.
1st and 10, Hillcrest.
That's also, a very clean game from the Timberwolves. We saw so many flags against them in the last game we watched.
Yeah,
against
we sure
Cedar Valley.
did.
Definitely cleaned up their game.
Maudry throws the fade into the end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
Touchdown, Hillcrest.
Stevie Hoskins.
Stephen Hoskins, 14
with the reception, the 13-yard touchdown. And the Hillcrest offense finally gets into the end zone, and with 3:50 to go here in the game, it is 51-13. And that will bring out Caden Burton now for the extra point.
Yeah, so almost took a full 48 minutes of play to finally get that ball into the end zone for their
sure
offense.
Did. Wow.
Well, I mean, hey, good throw right there. Just high point that ball, throw it up for your tall wide receiver. Gets it done.
51-13 is our score. Burton now for the extra point, out of the hold of Micah Maudry, and it's right through the middle.
PAT is good with 3:50 left in the game. T-Wolves 51, Huskies 14.
51-14 now your score, and UCCU will have this message for you. We'll be back after this word from them on the other side of the break.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
3:50 to go here in the game. Alexander Tumulip alongside Alex Amrine for Timpanogos Football and KSL Sports Rewind, presented by Brent Brown Toyota Scion. Skyridge and Lone Peak, an update for you from Highland, Utah. Lone Peak leading Skyridge 16-10. You can catch that game right now over on KSLSports.com. Mark Winterton and Jake Hatch have the call for you there. Right? Actually, that's Mark Winterton and Moose Bingham, I'm sorry, that have the call for you right now. Caden Burton's kickoff will go deep, and it will drive the man back into the 10. Penalty flag comes out for a blindside hit. And the clock will stop with 3:41 to go as It was number 88, that's Parker Harvey, who made the return, and then we had a blindside hit on said return at about the 9-yard line, and that will put the ball, what, about the 4.
Yeah, I think that was Graff right there. It's going to set them half the distance to their own goal line right there. And, you know, right here, when you're at this point in the game, you got your second stringers in there. At this point, you're just looking to, you know, get home a bit early, start celebrating, get ready for homecoming the following day.
It is very early, Amrine. I mean, it is only 9:13 here. We kicked off at close to 7. So it has been a very, very fast couple of hours here tonight at Timpanogos High School as our officials coming over to Austin Heaps and explaining what the penalty is going to be. I assume it's going to be a blindside hit, but maybe there's also targeting involved in this. Because if it is targeting, then the offending player, you said it was Graff, according to the letter of the law in Utah high school football, has to get ejected.
Yeah, and it didn't really look like, it did look to me like it was just shoulder to shoulder.
It looked like it was shoulder to shoulder, you're right.
I didn't see a lowering of a head or anything malicious out of that.
So we'll wait on that. Austin Heaps got the explanation. I don't think he likes it, but who doesn't?
You know, when you're up 51-14, you got to pick and choose your battles.
Right, you do. So they mark it off half the distance of the goal from the penalty, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the 4. The worst starting field position of Timpanogos' night so far. They still have not punted the football yet, but I think that's about to come to an end. As we're under 3 minutes and 38 seconds to go here in the game. Riggs, hands off to Pope. Pope breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet, and he gets out close to the 30. He'll pick up close to 26 here for the young man.
I think Pope's got to be averaging about 15 or so yards per carry, if not more.
That
was a great run right there. I think they just tried bringing pressure, just right on the outsides, and that just left a wide open hole in the middle.
Timpanogos, by the way, as we said, will play Tula next week at Tula. As we're under 3 minutes to go here in the game. Hillcrest will play Uinta next weekend as Pope gets the handoff again. And Pope gets nailed at about the 30-yard line, picked up about 4.
Pope good for a gain of 3.
Isaiah Cooper
Second
there
down and 7.
with the hit.
Isaiah right there was trying his hardest to strip that ball out. Pope just holding on for dear life, able to bring him down. Some good sportsmanship. Coop pulling up Pope off the ground.
T-Wolves content to just let the clock run here. Not wanting to run up the score here on homecoming night. Hillcrest will fall to 0-8 on the season, 0-5 in region play. Timpanogos will improve to 6-2. They'll be 3-2 in region play.
Before you head out.
And
thank you.
And this will put them over 40 points in all their wins this year as Stratton Lewis gets the carry. Lewis is still on his feet, still going down inside the 30.
Stratton Lewis.
And he gets all the way down to the 29-yard line. But not before he picked up another chunk of yardage. As we say that, Lone Peak just scored to go up 22-10 on Skyridge.
Yeah,
so the Falcons in a little bit of trouble.
And another T-Wolves.
And that's going to be it as Austin Heaps is going to call off the dogs and put the victory formation in here.
And next week, of course, this Hillcrest side is going to be playing Uinta.
Uinta, yes.
And, you know, that's who Timpanogos played last week and got that win back after having a bit of a rough go against Payson in Cedar Valley. So that should be certainly a more competitive game than the one we've seen here tonight.
Well, yeah, they got the doors blown off them against Payson. 35 points in that first quarter, but it was the Timberwolves who went out to a 48-7 halftime lead, and they cruised from there. I'd like to thank Chase Campbell, our cameraman here tonight. We'd like to thank Vince Francis back in the studio in Salt Lake City for helping out with our scoreboard issues. And Alex Amrine and I are very happy to be back behind the microphones again.
Huskies 14.
That will do it
Join us Thursday night at Tooele as we take out the Buffaloes.
Timpanogos defeats Hillcrest
Again,
51
to
14 in all 6 victories this season. Timpanogos has gone over 40 points. Put up 41 against Jordan, 42 against Mountain View, 42 against Hurricane, 45 against Uinta, and now 51 against Hillcrest. And reminder, they also put up 57 against Corona in California earlier this season. We'll take one final break and be back with some final thoughts and our choice for the Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game. KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of Timpanogos football continues after this.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
As the fireworks go off for one final time here tonight, Alexander Timberlip and Alex Amrine here at Timpanogos High School. Final score 51-14 as the Timberwolves improved to 6-2 on the season. All right, Amrine, final thoughts.
I mean, overall, going into this game, Timpanogos was the favorite. We saw some bright spots where we thought that Hillcrest could get the Timberwolves in trouble, but at the end of the day, 51-14, you know, Hillcrest only getting one offensive touchdown, their other touchdown coming off kind of a fluke. Timpanogos just fumble, scoop and score at the 5-yard line. What I saw from the Timpanogos side, they have so many different ways they can win this game, and Hillcrest has a lot to work on if they want to, you know, see a win before the season's out with just 2 more games, of course playing Uinta, and then finishing up the season with Cedar Valley.
So Amrine, let's talk about the Hillcrest Huskies for a second as our man Chase Campbell is panning over to the fireworks show one final time here tonight. This Hillcrest side really has a bright future because let's give some credit where credit is due to Micah Madri. That kid is one tough football player.
Yeah, no, and he's just got, you know, some great physique about him. I was talking, it was so fun watching him. I mean, obviously, not a lot it resulted out of the times that he was running out of the pocket, running for his life, but just the amount of players that he was able to miss, he's just like a walking highlight reel. He just needs to have that offensive line, a good offensive line around him, and then they should be set.
So now, Amrine, we come to this moment. We always love it. The Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game. The Heidemann & Associates law firm is committed to winning for their clients. The full-service law firm, a proud sponsor of KSL Sports Rewind. Amrine, there's a lot of players we could have picked tonight from the Timpanogos side, but I think we know who the obvious choice is in this one.
Yeah, I guess we'll go with Luke Livingston. He had an okay
Again,
game.
Come on.
Yeah. No, I mean, Luke Livingston, you know, he's, like I said, you know, talking about Micah, you know, walking highlight reel, he's just the embodiment of it. Luke Livingston, you know, we started off that game with just that punt return touchdown, and I think that was kind of the signal to us, like, okay, this is going to be a long night for Hillcrest. Then, of course, he went on to have a rushing touchdown and then a throwing touchdown, and, you know, he was basically just denied another touchdown, a little quarterback sneak they had on the Wildcat play, which you mentioned earlier, due to a penalty that was overturned. But overall, just a great night by him. We know what an explosive player he is.
25 total touchdowns now in the season, Alex Amrine, as the smoke from the fireworks drifts over into our direction here tonight. Amrine, it was a good off week. That was fun. Enjoy your time off. I'm gonna go head north to Salt Lake and go take in that Region 2 thriller. That's gonna be a good one next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna be spending some time with some family coming in from California. I'm gonna miss spending time with you. Glad I'm gonna see the family. You guys are gonna have a fun time up there.
Yes, that's right, folks. Join me and Brett Hammer next week, Friday. Cairns against West. Kickoff is at 7 on KSLSports.com. And we certainly are looking forward to that one. A Region 2 thriller with certainly everything on the line. For Chase Campbell and for Vince Francis back in Salt Lake City, and for my broadcast partner, Alex Amrine, this has been another presentation of Timpanogos football on KSL Sports Rewind, presented by Brent Brown Toyota Scion. Once again, your final score, the Timpanogos Timberwolves 51, the Hillcrest Huskies 14. Until we meet again, malama pono kekai kekai. Take care of one another, everyone. Aloha from Utah. Good night, and remember, you'll be found.